Ready?
Ready? Ready?
Ready?
Who wants to do the honors? I guess I'll do them,
There you go.
unless John wants to do them. You're up. Be careful what you wish for. Hey, rub the bottle and. Okay, so let's, ready to go, Big Cheese? Good evening, everybody on? Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the City of Hialeah Planning and Zoning Board meeting for Wednesday, June 29th, 2022. Everyone, please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. John will have the honors.
Thank you, sir. Dear Lord, thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve our citizens and our communities. Please give us the wisdom and the strength to make the right decisions to help our city and our community move forward. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Meeting guidelines. The following guidelines apply to today's Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone or cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via the web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or a smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard. All lobbyists must register with the Planning and Zoning Board prior to item being heard. A maximum of 4 speakers in favor and 4 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the Planning and Zoning Board on any item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes.
Thank you. Welcome, guys. Let the record show that Mr. Casanova and Mr. Jimenez have come in and they're ready to serve, correct? No, that's okay. The train had a flat tire? The train had a flat tire?
Item number 1, roll call. Mr. D. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Gamon?
Here.
Mr. Iglesias?
Here.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Here.
Mr. Casanova?
Here.
Mrs. Enriquez is absent. We have a quorum. Item number 2, approval of Planning and Zoning Board summary agenda of June 15th, 2022, as submitted.
We need a motion and a second, please.
Second the motion.
Motion, Mr. Casanova, second, Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Ramon?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Item has been approved. Administration of oath to all applicants and anyone who will be speaking before the board on any item.
Do we have anybody in Zoom that's gonna, no? Nobody has registered? Okay. All audience members that are going to speak in front of us, please stand, raise your right hand. Si van a prestar juramento si van a hablar aquí al frente de la Junta. Are you going to speak in front of us?
Give your opinion.
Give your opinion. It doesn't hurt. Okay? Okay? David?
You affirm to tell the truth before this board.
¿Usted juro o afirma que va a decir la verdad al frente de la Junta? Okay, thank you. Let the record show that the answer was on the affirmative.
A written decision and resolution will be prepared and presented for review to the City Council. The City Council is authorized to affirm with conditions, or override the decisions by resolution. After the resolution is adopted, Contact a member of the city clerk's office to obtain a copy of the final decision and resolution. Upon your receipt of the final decision and resolution, contact the building department to obtain your required building permit. Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file of the proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the City Council before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at its scheduled meeting of Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. Item number 3. Final decision to allow west side setback of 3.60 feet where 7.5 feet are required for a metal roof to be legalized, and rear setback of 6.80 feet where 7.5 feet are required for a 139.5 square feet metal accessory building to be legalized. Property located at 577 West 53rd Street, Hialeah Zoned R1, One Family District. Applicant, Angel F. Medina.
Angel Medina. And up there, please. Name and address. Nombre y dirección.
Ángel Medina, 577 West 53 Street.
The property in this application is a single-family home located on the north side of West 53rd Street, east of West 6th Court. The house was originally built in 1956 as a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house with an attached utility and carport on its west side. In 1962, an addition was built with permits, expanding the utility and adding an additional carport attached to the original one. Later in time, the two carports were enclosed, and there are no records of permits for the enclosure, and conversion of the carports into a gym, den, and storage area. An accessory building at the rear, a metal roof on the west side of the house, and a terrace were added over time, for which no record of permits were found. At this time, the applicant is before the city with a proposal to enclose the terrace, and to be able to do so, adjustment to the metal roof west side setback and accessory building rear setbacks are needed. Accordingly, an adjustment of the west side setback to 3.60 feet, where 7.5 feet are required for the legalization of the metal roof, an adjustment of the rear setback to 6.80 feet, where 7.5 feet are required for the legalization of the metal roof are requested. The requested adjustment could be approved with the condition that the carports, enclosures, and accessory building get legalized within 180 days.
Thank you. Do you understand what she said? ¿Usted entendió lo que dijo ella?
Algo,
¿Algo?
¿Quiere que se lo traduzca en
por
español?
favor.
Bueno, un momento que me parece que I have to forget something that I said. La propiedad en esta aplicación es una vivienda unifamiliar ubicada en el lado norte de la West 53 Terrace, al este de la West 6 Court. La casa fue originalmente construida en 1956 con 3 dormitorios y un baño, con un utility adjunto a la casa y un carport en el lado oeste de la casa. En 1962, una adición fue construida con permisos, expandiendo el utility y agregando un carport adicional junto al original. Más tarde en el tiempo, los dos carports fueron cerrados y no hay récords de permisos para este cierre y conversión de los carports en un gimnasio, un den y un área de estoraje. Una casa de desahogo en la parte posterior y un techo metálico en el lado oeste de la casa y una terraza fueron agregadas a través del tiempo y no hay récords de permisos para esas adiciones. En este momento el aplicante está ante la ciudad con una propuesta de encerrar la terraza. Para poder hacer eso, necesita ajustar los retiros obligatorios en el lado oeste para el techo metálico y el retiro obligatorio posterior para la casa de desahogo. Es por esto que está solicitando un ajuste del retiro lateral oeste de 3.60 pies, donde se requieren 7.5 para poder legalizar el techo metálico, y un ajuste del retiro posterior a 6.80 pies, donde 7.5 son requeridos para la legalización de la casa de desahogo. Los ajustes solicitados pueden ser aprobados con la condición que los carports y la casa de desahogo sean legalizadas dentro de los 180 días.
Okay. Did you understand now? ¿Entendió ahora?
Sí.
Any comments or questions? ¿Algún comentario, una pregunta que era?
No, en realidad no tengo.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board?
Just one comment. To the condition to legalize the carport enclosures, is that based on the setbacks? Is that the only thing they need, the setbacks, to legalize? Is that easy for him to legalize?
They need to be able to legalize a terrace that they are enclosing at the rear. They need to take care of the setbacks for two reasons: for a metal roof that they have that was built without permits, and for an accessory building that was built without permits. So they need to be able to legalize what they are proposing, and other things that we discovered that were done without permits, they need this adjustment.
Oh, I thought it was only this, a setback, so there might be other things for them.
No. The setbacks is what they need to be able to legalize all the other things that they need to legalize.
¿Entendió la discusión?
Sí.
Okay. Good. Any comments, any more comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question on this item? Anyone in the electronic audience? No? Closest the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve?
Second the motion.
The conditions?
With conditions.
Thank you.
Motion, Mr. Jimenez, second, Mr. Ramon. Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova? Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramon?
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Okay, your item was approved and he needs to come back when?
August 23rd.
El 23 de agosto. Tiene que regresar al frente del consejo. Okay?
¿Tengo que hacer alguna modificación o algo?
No. Después cuando usted presente los planos, si quiere venga y le explicamos lo que tiene que legalizar que no está incluido en este plano que mandaron, porque el plano muestra la casa como existente, pero cuando miramos los récords vimos que había partes que estaban existentes pero sin permiso.
Existente, pero sin permiso.
Pero sin permiso.
Oh, ok,
Sí.
necesito saber.
What he was asking if he needs to change the plans, and I am explaining that when we look at the microfilms, there are things that weren't addressed in those plans that they were shown as existing, but they were existing without permit, so he will need to include that legalization in his permit.
Es más bien para poner el récord al día.
Perfecto.
Okay? Okay, thank you. August 23rd. Thank you. Good night.
Item number 4. Final decision to allow street size setback of 14.20 feet where 15 feet are required for an existing addition to be legalized. Property located at 1590 West 57 Terrace, Hialeah zoned R1, one family district. Applicant, Rogelio A. Gutierrez.
Rogelio Gutiérrez.
Sí, se puede. Si necesita que le aclaremos cuáles son las partes que no tienen permiso, venga y se lo mostramos. Venga a nuestro departamento y se lo mostramos.
Pero puede quedarse. Está invitado. Tenemos café aquí. Okay. Name and address, please.
Rogelio Gutierrez and 1590 West, 57 Terrace, Hialeah, Florida 33012.
Thank you.
The property in this application is a single-family home located at the southeast intersection of West 57th Terrace and West 16th Avenue. The applicant is before the city requesting an adjustment of the street side setback to 14.20 feet where 15 feet are required for the legalization of a family room addition. The setback adjustment request is minimal and shall be approved. The recommendation is approved.
Thank you.
Easy.
Comments or questions?
No, not really.
Not really? Comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Mr. IT department says there's no one in Zoom. Closes the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion, Mr. Iglesias, second, Mr. Casanova, and Mr. Ramon. Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Ramon?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item has been approved. No.
No, this
this
one
one
has
has
no
no
conditions.
condition. It's minimal.
Conditions of the one before. Okay, so come back on August 23rd.
August 23rd at 7 p.m.
Same place, same channel, same time. Well, no,
If-
7.
If you don't want to come, you can attend via Zoom,
Okay.
because it's so simple.
But you know, gas is so inexpensive today that, you know, come on down, visit us here.
Those meetings are long, that's why.
Yeah, they're long. All right.
Item number 5, final decision to allow interior north side setback of 6.91 feet where 7.5 feet are required, and 15 feet rear setback where 20 feet are required for existing addition and terrace to be legalized. Property located at 7065 West 10th Avenue, Hialeah, zoned R1, one family district. Applicant, Rosa Perez.
Rosa Perez. Name and address, please.
Rosa Pérez, 7065 West, 10 Avenida, Hialeah, Florida,
Okay.
33014.
¿Lo prefiere mejor en español o
Sí,
en...?
por favor.
Ok, se lo va a leer en inglés y después lo traduce al español y después lo discutiremos. ¿Bien?
The property in this application is a single-family home located on the east side of West 10th Avenue, south of West 71st Street. This is not a homestead property and has a long history of violations since the year 2000, including building without permits and illegal units. Records show a building permit initiated in 2019 that is now abandoned. The applicant is now before the city with a proposal to legalize additions built without the benefit of a building permit. To be able to do so, the applicant is requesting an adjustment of the interior north side setback to 6.91 feet where 7.5 feet are required, and rear setback to 15 feet where 20 feet are required for a legalization of a terrace. The requested setbacks may be approved with the condition that the terrace remains open on 3 sides and the legalization gets completed within 180 days. The recommendation, approved with condition. La voy a leer en español.
Yeah, before we, okay, go ahead and read it in Spanish, but we have a letter that we need to read into the record. Okay.
La propiedad en esta aplicación es una vivienda unifamiliar ubicado en el lado oeste de la avenida 10 del Oeste, al sur de la calle 71 del Oeste. Esta no es una propiedad que tiene la excepción de homestead, quiere decir que el dueño no vive en la vivienda. Y tiene una historia larga de violaciones desde el año 2000, incluyendo construcción sin permisos y unidad ilegal. Los récords muestran un permiso de construcción iniciado en el año 2019 que ahora está abandonado. El aplicante está ahora frente a la ciudad con una propuesta para legalizar las adiciones que fueron construidas sin el beneficio de un permiso de construcción. Para poder hacerlo, el aplicante está solicitando un ajuste del retiro obligatorio interior en el lado norte a 6.91 pies, donde 7.5 pies son requeridos, y un retiro posterior a 15 pies, donde 20 pies son requeridos para la legalización de una terraza. Los ajustes solicitados pueden ser aprobados con la condición que la terraza permanezca abierta en 3 lados y que la legalización sea completada dentro de los 180 días. Recomendación, aprobar con estas condiciones.
Okay. Hay una carta que uno de los vecinos envió y ahora la vamos a leer al récord. Okay. There's a letter from one of the neighbors that was sent in. So we'll read that into the record.
To whom it may concern, I did not think Hialeah had any zoning laws. As I have lived in Hialeah for more than 60 years, all I see is people doing what they want and no considerations for their neighbor. In my neighborhood, they have added on their homes and have all kinds of apartments. Hialeah is one of the most overcrowded places and look almost like a slum era. We need to clean up our city, not with more buildings. Too many apartments and no room to breathe. We need more pride in our city. Sincerely, Ann Miller, 885 West 71st Street, Hialeah, Florida, 33014.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Okay. Comments or questions? ¿Alguna pregunta, un comentario sobre su aplicación y sobre el comentario de la vecina? ¿No le entendió mucho?
Te lo voy a traducir.
Okay.
Yo pensé que Hialeah, bueno,
Yeah.
a quien le corresponda. Yo no pensé que Hialeah tenía algunas leyes de zonificación. Como viví en Hialeah por más de 60 años, lo único que veo es gente haciendo lo que quiere y sin consideración para sus vecinos. En mi barrio agregaron construcciones en sus viviendas y tienen toda clase de apartamentos. Hialeah es uno de los lugares más poblados y se ve como un lugar, ¿cómo sería un slum?
De bajo recurso.
Sería como un lugar un error y un lugar de bajos recursos. Necesitamos limpiar nuestra ciudad, no con más construcciones, demasiados apartamentos y sin lugar para poder respirar. Necesitamos sentir más orgullo por nuestra ciudad. Sinceramente, Ann Miller, y da su dirección.
Thank you. ¿Algún comentario? ¿Sí? Póngase al micrófono, diga su nombre y dirección.
Mi nombre es Ingrid Dominici, mi dirección es 7825 Southwest 32 Terra. Yo represento y estoy ayudando a la señora Rosa en este caso.
Ok. Le voy a pedir una cosa.
Sí, señor.
Haga un comentario, denos un chancecito para traducirlo, porque el récord tiene que ser en inglés.
I understand.
Oh, you understand? You want to say it in English? It'd be a lot
If you feel
easier.
more comfortable, yes.
It will be a lot easier for us. Go ahead.
I think my client neighbor, she's a little bit mad with all the stuff that's going around her. My client just, what she did was make the kitchen big. And the reason, can I get close to you to
Sure.
show you a letter?
You don't bite, do you?
No, the last time I did.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's why they did. Before I copy of that letter.
Okay. Are you submitting this for the record, or do you need this back, or
I'm gonna need that back. I can give you a copy.
would that? Can we make a copy?
Yeah, the court for the court violation section have a copy of the letter.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go through with the case, with the application? Let's come up with a vote, and before we leave, we'll run a copy of this. It should only take a couple of minutes. I mean, you're pretty much the last one on the line, so.
Yes.
Okay, there's one more?
Yeah, but it's a final plat.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's hear your application.
I see the conditions, the kitchen need to be open or the terrace.
The terrace needs to be open.
That's where the
That's
kitchen
the
was
condition.
built.
They built an addition on the side with a terrace. You're asking for the rear setback for the terrace. That terrace needs to be open on 3 sides, needs to remain as a terrace.
Okay,
That's
okay.
the condition.
La terraza-
And they have to finish all the legalizations within 180 days because these violations are a continuation since the year 2000, and a permit was started in 2019 that was never completed.
Yeah, the permit was in 2019. You guys, we request a public hearing, then the COVID comes and we have to show up in court, but we just waiting for their approval. That's it, from Sony. That way we can continue the process.
We don't need it.
You don't need
You
it?
don't need
We don't
this
need it?
letter.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
unrelated to what we are considering.
Okay, you can have it back. Okay, so do you have anything else to add, or?
No, if I just gonna explain to her, if you guys want to explain the terraza is.
Go ahead.
Doña Rosa, la terraza que usted hizo no se puede poner pared, tiene que quedar abierta por los lados. Esas son las cosas.
Now, can that be screened in, or does it have to be?
That's the proposal that you brought before us. You brought us a proposal with an open terrace.
Yes.
So the condition is that you do what you stated here that you were going to do. The terrace needs to remain open as a terrace. This is a single-family home, so if it had illegal units, it can no longer have illegal units. It's one house for one family. So that's the main thing. You presented a layout that shows that it's one house. So we expect that you legalize what you have to legalize, and this continues being a house, and the terrace that you're proposing to do a terrace that remains open as a terrace and doesn't become another addition with an illegal unit.
No, it's gonna stay as a terrace.
Okay.
Se tiene que mantener
Deborah,
como
one
terrace.
question. Can that terrace be screened in, possibly to keep the bugs out or so, or does it have to be just completely open?
It can be screened, but they don't even live at the house. They rent the
Oh,
house.
okay.
And the house has a long
I got you.
history of illegal
I got you.
units.
You understand my question?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's leave it open-sided. Let's not stir the pot.
Yes.
Okay.
La cocina que usted amplió, la terraza que usted tiene afuera al lado de la piscina, se mantiene abierta, no se puede cerrar. No puede ponerle screen para los mosquitos ni nada. ¿Ok?
Pero en estos momentos, que la cocina no tiene que ver, esto,
Yeah, the kitchen
Esto,
has nothing
en
to
estos
do.
momentos, esto no
Lo que,
tiene que
está
ver nada con la
lo
cocina.
que está legalizando es la parte del
Lo que
costado de la casa.
aquí dice de la terraza.
Cuando venga a presentar los planos, si esa cocina fue hecha sin permiso, también la va a tener que legalizar.
Usted me dijo que teníamos que legalizar un cuarto, porque ya lo compró así.
No. Usted tiene que legalizar todo lo que los permisos muestren, que son estos planos. No sé quién hizo estos planos, pero estos planos muestran todo lo que hay que legalizar, menos la cocina. Tendrá que agregar la cocina y tendrá que legalizar todo eso.
Okay, her question was, she was concerned about just legalizing the one bedroom.
It's not one
And
bedroom.
that's just, right, and your answer to her was she needs to adhere to the plans that she submitted, which is anything and everything within that property needs to
Exactly.
be brought up to code.
Yes.
So, right, and that's the application that you submitted. So not just the one bedroom, if you will, the whole property.
When a zonification requests the plans, they also request the microfilm for the property, and few issues come up. So zonification say, hey, you guys need to add this to the new plans because these need to be legalized.
Okay.
And that's what we do it.
Okay.
So the last sets that you have there are what you require the first time.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's good.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Are you okay, Mr. Juan? Oh, how many days? 6 months, 180 days. 6 meses.
So that in that time, I think the permit will be done.
Okay.
Well, if not, then
Well,
you don't want to reach that. You don't want to reach that deadline. You want to do it before,
we want to finish and move on.
especially since the property has a history of complaints and there's a history there. So you don't really want to push your luck on the 6 months, to the very, very end. Just as soon as you get a chance, just start.
So I have a quick question. Now these plans going to be released by zoning and they're going to
No.
start.
This plan, you need to come on August 23rd. This will be approved by the city council, and then your sets of plans for construction are not these ones. These are the sets that you present for zoning. So you will bring your own set of plans with all the documentation and electrical, and you submit for a building permit.
But you guys already have plans that you keeping in.
No, the plans that you sent us are for this. If you submitted plans to the city and you have a permit number, you have to go to the building department, pick up those permits, and take care of that independently. What we have there is what you submitted for this. These are not your building plans.
I completely understand, Ms. Deborah, but this is what I'm trying to explain to you. When we submit plans in 2019, they went to the zoning department. The zoning department denied. When the zoning department denied plans, that permit don't continue to the other departments.
Yeah,
They
no.
stay in zoning.
All the permits are building permits. So zoning is one of the reviewers. When zoning denies a plan, the plan goes back to building and other reviewers don't review them. But the plans, no, they don't change. We deal with this every day. When we deny something, it goes back to building because what you submit is a building permit. We don't keep any plans. We don't
But
have any plans.
If zoning don't approve, the other departments don't revise the plans.
Yeah, but the plans, the set of plans
have
returns
a
to the
building.
building department.
Okay.
That's what I said. No
So
one
I just
reviews
need to
them.
attach these new plans to the old
You,
plan.
yeah, you have to deal with building and see how you process
Yes,
your.
Good now? Okay. Any more comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience? No one in the electronic audience? Closes the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Second the motion?
Motion, Mr. Casanova, second, Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Ulloa?
No.
Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramon?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you.
Miscellaneous items not requiring advertising. Item number 6, final plat of Marcia's Monument subdivision.
This is a parcel of land that is like a city park. There is a monument. This is on Hialeah Gardens Boulevard and 68th Street, I believe. So it already came for the T-plat and then they had to change something. So the final plat is recommended for approval.
Okay.
There's a monument there?
There's a monument there, yes.
Oh, in front of
It's
CVS, right?
in front of CVS,
Okay,
yes.
The other side is all grass too.
Yes,
right?
yes,
That's
yes.
the last.
Exactly, well,
grass.
yeah.
Comments or questions? No comments or questions? Anyone in the audience? No one in the electronic audience? Close the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion, Mr. Iglesias, second, Mr. Ramon. Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramon?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa? Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Item has been approved. Item number 7, old business? No old business. Item number 8, new business.
New business.
Enjoy the July recess.
We will enjoy the July vacation with pay.
I'd like to make a comment before you. This lady's letter, I really listened to it. She's been here 60 years. And I've been seeing this. There's a lot of people taking advantage of our city. Literally taking advantage. Developers, attorneys, people using our city as Airbnbs and everything. It's getting a little bit crazy. Let's listen to our constituents, let's listen to our people of our city. 60 years living here. So she's proud, she's been here, she's sacrificed herself. Let's not let these people that want to just, that lady doesn't even live here. She just has a house, uses that address, and then she rents it out, makes money. It hurts me. Yeah, you can rent it out in a normal way, but don't start making rooms after rooms after rooms and turn this into a shanty town, into a ghetto. I don't want that for our city. I want our city to get better and better and better and better. Let's make these, let's listen to these people. 60 years, and she's living by the law. I bet you her house is by the book. That lady there, she's gonna keep making efficiencies. Is what it is. So let's, whenever we can, let's please listen to our people. The city, and do the best for them.
Thank you, Mr. Ulloa. Any more new business? No? Well, I'm gonna step out of bounds a little bit. And I would like to give a special shout out to a very special lady in DeLand, Florida. Very dear to me and my wife. Cindy, this is to you. Thank you. Any other new business? Okay, meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, sir.